The neon glow of Charlie's phone pierced the darkness of her cramped studio apartment, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Her finger trembled as it hovered over the call button, a bead of cold sweat trickling down her spine. The crumpled flyer lay on her nightstand, its bold red text seeming to pulsate in the dim light. Desperate, hopeless. One call changes everything. 555 0666. Charlie's throat tightened as she recalled the events of the past week, the sharp sting of her boyfriend's parting words, the pitying looks from her now former co-workers as she cleared out her desk. The flyer had appeared like a twisted beacon of hope, materializing on her windshield as if conjured by her despair. What more do I have to lose? The thought echoed in her mind as she pressed call. The screen's harsh light reflecting in her wide, anxious eyes. One ring pierced the silence. 2 rings, each like a hammer blow to her racing heart. On the 3rd ring, a voice slithered through the phone, low, rasping, like steel scraping over gravel. "You shouldn't have called." Ice flooded Charlie's veins. I'm sorry," she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. "I think I have the wrong—" "No, Charlie," the voice interrupted, a hint of cruel amusement coloring its tone. "This is exactly where you're meant to be." The line went dead with a finality that felt like a coffin lid slamming shut. Charlie's phone slipped from her trembling fingers, clattering to the floor. Her mind reeled. How did they know my name? That night, her dreams were a kaleidoscope of horrors. Shadowy figures with elongated limbs reached for her through a miasma of sickly sweet fog, their fingers always just grazing her skin before she jolted to another nightmare. When morning finally broke, Charlie found herself tangled in sweat-soaked sheets, her throat raw from unremembered screams. As she shifted, a metallic scent assaulted her nostrils. Hesitantly, she lifted the covers to reveal dark, rust-colored stains spattered across the fabric like abstract art. The next 7 days unfolded like a cruel joke. Her alarm failed 3 mornings in a row, each missed interview another nail in the coffin of her career. Her trusty old car sputtered its last breath on the highway, leaving her stranded in a downpour. Her landlord's voice dripped with disdain as he threatened eviction, dismissing her tearful protest that she'd already paid. And always that accursed number lurked in her call history. A digital brand seared into her phone's memory. On the 7th night, as the witching hour approached, Charlie's eyes snapped open. An otherworldly glow bathed her bedroom, emanating from her phone on the nightstand. The cursed number blazed on the screen, each digit pulsing like a beating heart. Her hand moved of its own accord, answering the call before her sleep-addled mind could protest. "Please," she croaked, desperation clawing at her throat. "Make it stop!" A chuckle oozed through the speaker, low and cruel, seeping into her bones like liquid nitrogen. "Oh, Charlie, my dear, it's only just beginning." The voice paused, savouring her fear like a fine wine. "You see, now that you've answered, it's your turn to make the calls." Horror dawned as Charlie watched her fingers move independently, scrolling through her contacts. Her thumb hovered over her sister's name, poised to spread this digital plague to her loved ones. "No!" The scream tore from her lips as she hurled the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall in a spray of glass and circuitry, the sound like a gunshot in the oppressive silence of her apartment. For a moment, blessed stillness reigned. Charlie's ragged breathing was the only sound as she stared at the remains of her phone, heartbeat thundering in her ears. Then, from the fragments of the broken screen, a soft, insidious glow began to emanate, and it was ringing.